Hey there, folks. How you doing today? Happy New Year 2024. Please bear with the roosters ringing in the new year right outside there. Life is going on outside. We're not going to let it interfere with what we've got going on in here. We got some neat stuff here on the table for you. We have our Stevens 334 imported from Turkey by Savage. There's the box up there. We just did a review on that one. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, please do so. We also have not one, but two entry-level optics out here on the table that we're going to talk about. Now, both of these optics are Crimson Trace optics. This is the Brushline BDC. The one down there is the Hardline MR1 MOA. They're both Crimson Trace optics. Why are they both Crimson Trace optics? Well, Crimson Trace, along with Wheeler, Smith & Wesson, Caldwell, and the rest of American Outdoor brands are loyal supporters of the work we do here on this channel. If you weren't familiar with that, I ask you to take a moment to listen to this word from our sponsor. If you are watching this, then you probably know that Crimson Trace has a long and reputable history producing quality laser products for the firearms industry, such as the LS250 laser saddle shown here on the Mossberg Shockwave. But did you know they now have a full line of quality accessories to include both red and green laser sights, tactical lights, electronic sights, and rifle scopes to rival other premium brands on the market today? From the novice outdoorsman to the tactical professional, Crimson Trace offers a wide range of budget-friendly to premium rifle scopes to meet your operational needs. All Crimson Trace products are backed by their no-hassle limited lifetime warranty. Check them out now and use promo code J10 to save 10% off your next purchase. Now, I've already done a separate little review on both of these scopes, but now I was going to just kind of address them side by side, let you know my thoughts on them. They're both 3 to 9 by 40 scopes, which is quintessential what most people put on a deer rifle. They're going to use out to about 300 yards. While they are both the same magnification, they are very, very different. So the Hardline series of scopes is geared towards the tactical or the recreational shooter, typically somebody who's shooting from a stationary position at a stationary object. The Brushline series is more of a hunter scope and has a simple reticle that is easier to use when making quick shots out in the field. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in a minute. Just know that the Brushline reticle looks like this, which is pretty close to a basic duplex reticle, but it does have those graduated diamonds down at the bottom for holdover. We will discuss that a little bit more here in just a minute. The Hardline scope has a mil dot, although it's an MOA dot reticle, which has little hash marks that go in all 4 directions on the crosshairs to give you reference points when you're applying a holdover or range finding or whatever. Typically speaking, if I'm hunting and I'm shooting at something that's moving and it's kind of a dynamic situation, I prefer a simple duplex reticle like the one on the Brushline scope. The Hardline is more fun if you're ringing steel at various ranges out at your local gun club. Both of these are, as I mentioned before, entry-level scopes. There is about $100 difference in cost. The MSRP on the Brushline BDC is $169, and I think it's $259 for the Hardline MR1 MOA. So if that cost is a factor, the Brushline is a little less expensive. However, if you use my promo code, you could save on either one of them over on Crimson Trace's website. So I shot the 2 scopes side by side on this brand new rifle, and I didn't notice any noticeable difference in accuracy with either scope. They were both really easy to use. They were both problem-free. Both of them have a set parallax at 100 yards. I shot both scopes out to 300 yards and didn't notice any distortion or mirage. You got capped turrets on the Brushline scope, which means you have to remove this plastic cap, make any adjustments you need to for the ammunition you're shooting, and then put the cap back on so the scope doesn't get bumped. As opposed to the exposed turrets that you have over here on the Hardline scope, which are easy to bump. Now they are graduated here with a 0 set. They do not have a 0 stop, but they do have a 0 set. How would you set the 0 on that? What does that even mean? Well, that's simple. Get your scope sighted in with whatever ammunition you're going to use at whatever range. Simply lift the turret cap, turn it to 0, push it back down, and it'll be ready to go. So Again, that's a feature that's really nice for at range work. It might not be what you want when you're out tromping through the woods. So we'll move on and cover a little more of the features. Both of these scopes have a 3.5-inch eye relief. Both of them were pretty forgiving, so I wouldn't worry about that. They're both 1-inch tubes. They both mount really well on medium rings. Overall length is only 0.2 inches shorter on the Brushline at 12.3, 12.5 on the Hardline. However, the Hardline scope is considerably heavier. It comes in 3 ounces heavier than the Brushline. Everybody knows when you're out tromping through the woods, ounces turn into pounds real quick. So the Brushline is the more lightweight of the two, the better option if you're out mountain. The Brushline has a little bit more windage and elevation movement than the Hardline. I was kind of surprised about that. I would have figured the scope that was made for holdover and dialing in shots would have had more. Both of the scopes feature proprietary Crimson Trace reticles, and I found both of them very easy to use. Keep in mind, I don't have the best eyesight, and the older I get, the more I notice a cheap scope. I didn't get that impression with either of these. They both seem to be really good quality optics. So now I know you're wondering, I've tried them both, which one's right for me? Which one's right for this rifle? Well, considering it is a hunting rifle, and that's what I intend to do with it, I'm going to go ahead and leave the Brushline BDC scope on this rifle. So you might be wondering what's going to happen with the Hardline scope. Well, YouTube has some real weird rules when it comes to giveaways and things of this nature to begin with, so we're not going to talk about it on here. But if you jump over to my Fed Up J. Lewis Rumble channel, I'll put a link down below. There's going to be a video on that channel for about the next week, and it'll tell you what's going to happen with that scope and what your chances are of winding up with it. So that's it for today. Hopefully you got something out of this. Let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. And as always, take care. God bless.